Well, welcome back to another episode of 217 South Mills.
Brought to you by Cabin Coffee Altoona, located at 2922 Meadowlark Lane in Altoona, Wisconsin.
And Pizza Del Rey, our favorite pizza place located in Eau Claire, Wisconsin.
I will talk about Bowling Green here. There is a little theory that the MAC will be kind of maybe, because Ohio State, Eddie George, welcome Eddie George to Bowling Green.
How nice is that?
Heisman Trophy winner, right? Bringing a lot. But guess what? Just signed Coach Day from Ohio State. Bowling Green just signed Ryan Day's son to be the quarterback. So they're trying to say it, maybe a theory, MAC programs are going to get these athletes that need some playing time. We're going to get some 4 or 5 star prospects to play in the MAC, get 1-2 years of film, then go up to Big Daddy Ohio State.
Yeah.
So what is Wisconsin?
So
Who would there be?
It's going to be like a farm league for college football, basically.
Yeah.
You know, you have the farm league for like baseball, where and I think we did NFL Europe for a while, kind of the same thing. But I mean, and actually, probably a really good idea.
Yeah.
Well, and that's where I think we've mentioned in the past where I think they're going to separate that Division I that has 134 teams in it. I think the new Division I is going to be 50 of the top teams, and those are teams with the money, making the money, and then everybody else is, 1A below them. But like you said, it's those teams, the Bowling Greens, the whoever else in that bottom half that are getting those guys playing time, pushing them up to where there's money, because the kids are going to leave anyways.
Absolutely.
And that's the thing is like that whole developmental, which we went through in college. You get in there as a freshman, you develop, you get better as a sophomore, you develop, you get better as a junior. Where now a school, maybe a Bowling Green, maybe a, Little Sisters of the Poor, you get a guy, you turn him into something, and you're like, in the next 2-3 years, he may be an All-American. Once you turn him into something, the Big Ten or the SEC is going to come along and be like, hey, we'll give you $1 million a year, transfer, come over here. And until they put rules, and like I said, I can't believe, if they allow us to take the NCAA over, we stand by my promise. We will put rules in place. Right now, there are no rules.
Right.
Like, why can't we say you only get one transfer?
Right.
Would that break anybody's balls? If we transferred, we had to sit out a whole year.
Lose a whole year.
If we worked, we lost our scholarship. Like, there were strict rules back there.
Yeah.
Now you could if you were in college 6 years, 7 years, you could. If you're in college 6 years, you could transfer 5 times.
Correct.
That's insane.
And it's so hard to me because how do you build a cohesiveness as a team, especially your offensive linemen? Like, seriously, like we played together for 5 years, and there was that cohesiveness. I knew what you were going to do. Yeah. It was one of those unwritten rules, but you don't ever have the ability to ever establish that in this kind of atmosphere of college football right now.
I'm going to throw something out here. They have JUCO because of the rule. You can play 2 years of junior college ball, and it doesn't count, and then you can move up to D1. I'm going to say right here in Wisconsin, we have the WEAC. We have UW Stevens Point, Whitewater, Platteville, La Crosse,
River Falls,
Eau Claire,
Oshkosh.
No. Yeah. So what I'm saying is, I say the first 2 years of D3 doesn't count. If you want to move up, why do JUCO? Because JUCO's down in Kansas City. All these.
So you're saying do one or the other?
I'm saying, what's the difference?
But you do 2 in JUCO and 2 in D3?
I'm saying it should be the same. Your first 2 years either in D3 because you're paying to play. Shouldn't count, right? That's your JUCO. That's your 2 years of eligibility. That's like in hockey, that's your minor leagues.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. And if you choose to stay, great. Now, your clock is ticking, right? You got your 4 years, probably got redshirt. You're still
going to benefit those programs. Kids go in there. Now you're going to get better athletes going to those schools, especially if it doesn't count against your eligibility.
And you're going to have more mature players that have actually experienced college, where you don't have your freshmen coming in doing stupid shit and then getting in trouble. You kind of go through those growing pains, at a different school, and then you kind of learn cut your teeth and kind of learn to program.
The toughest thing is until they make these rules, the only people that are getting hurt are high school kids right now. Yeah. Because there are, I think right now they say out of everybody for football that goes in the portal, it's only like 30%, I think, get a scholarship, or maybe 40%. And we did the math on the one show. There's enough players in the portal to make a whole nother Division I with 134 teams with 55 guys on every roster. Like, that is sick. that there's that many guys. And then, like a Dion says, why do I want to give an 18-year-old that's never been on his own, that never had to set an alarm, that never had to treat football in school like a business, why do I want to give him a scholarship when I could go to the 20-year-old who's done it for 2 years, that's in the portal, I got tape on him at this level, I know he can wake up, I know he can get good grades. Yep. Why do I want to? And I think Dion said out of his 25 scholarships, he may give 2 or 3 to high school kids.
And here's the stat of the day, and this isn't a typo. In D1, there's 6,426 athletes in football that are in the transfer portal. There's 3,845 D2 and D3 guys looking to move up. There's 120 D1 schools now, and let's just say 100 athletes to that roster.
Yeah.
Listen, there's 10,000 athletes, right?
Mm-hmm.
To me, that transfer portal has changed the game.
Yep.
If you're an athlete, let's say, and you're a late bloomer, and why do you want to travel to an outside state when you can go to your local UW Stevens Point? I can play football. I can get my education. And if I got a shot like Ramczyk, we talked about that. He only played football because his girlfriend's like, hey, come to Stevens Point, right? Hey, you should go out for football. Okay. Guess what? Then what happens second year? Well, she transfers to Madison. Hey, you know what? You should try out for Madison. Oh, okay. Yeah. And now he's retiring at 30 years old, probably 20-30 million in the bank?
Easily. If not more than
Good
that.
for you. I mean, I applaud you. I'll give you the clap.
I think that's awesome. And I just want to point out, too, that obviously me and Dion have this exact same kind of mindset when it comes to recruiting an 18-year-old, because I just said that prior to. So me and Dion are tight when it comes to the mental capacity of football.
Absolutely.
But you're absolutely right. If a guy's not going to show up to class, right, you're basically getting Johnny Manziel. You know, the guy that never studied.
It's a trust factor. You're hoping that he's going to go to class.
Yeah. And then there's people like Bill who didn't go to class and proved that was a big hurdle.
I did go to class. I do have a degree.
Yeah.
I just didn't attend as many classes as Joe attended.
It may be comparable. I think I missed like 13 classes my entire college
career. I might have missed like 23.
I think you went to 13 classes your entire college career.
Come on.
And that's a stretch.
I think I missed like 23, 25 classes in my career.
You missed that in 3 weeks, guy. What are you talking about?
Phil, I heard the best Bowser story ever here, okay? Joe, can you tell us about your dance class?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Did I already tell me?
I don't know. This is the funniest story I've ever heard.
Shoot, it's pretty
First day, he shows up, and he thinks it's going to be a blow-off class. And you go ahead. Tell the story.
Yeah, so I had to take a class, and it was a dance class. And it was my initial thing was I was going to be a gym teacher, like every other football player that does that, So you go through and I'm going to be a gym teacher and pass all this wonderful football knowledge. And so I was in the class, and I had to take this course, and it was a dance course. And I walked into the first day, and I don't know what to expect. I'm wearing jeans and a T-shirt. I think it's the first day. I walk in there, and there's some like dance majors in that class with the leg warmers and the leotard and shit. And I'm going
stretching.
Yeah, and I'm looking around going, I'm not quite sure I belong here. And sure shit, I'm on the roster. Okay. I'm kind of doing an evaluation, and I don't have any friends in the class the first day. No one's talking to me. Okay. So, I just kind of sat there and hemmed and hawed, and it's not to change a course, but I needed this. I needed a class, and this fit into my timetable. As a matter of fact, I had to go right from this class, and we had an evening workout, and I had to be there.
Yeah.
So the first day, I wore jeans and a T-shirt, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing that again, because I sweated through everything. I was dripping on the floor because I was fat, and these girls it was a very serious course, and I realized right away that this could not be something I made fun of and something I needed to give the old college effort to. So the following day, I come into class. I'm wearing my red mesh shorts, my Wisconsin freaking T-shirt, sleeves cut off. I got my ankle braces on, man. I got my ankle braces strapped on, ready to go. And I tell you what, I did everything to the best of my ability. I never made fun of anybody in there. Like, I was the guy that was basically the outcast of the crew. And after I walk in that day, and that professor pulls me aside, and she's like, "What are you doing here?" I said, I'm in dance class. And she's like, "Are you a football player?" And I said, "Yeah." And she's like, I don't know why. I don't know how you're in here. And I said, why? What's going on? She's like, I generally have my classes in the afternoon and evenings because I don't want football players in my class. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry. And I said, as soon as I leave here, I'm going to go get my workout in. So I'm going to be here. So I already felt the I don't belong here vibe. Yeah. And then that's what I thought. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. So true story. I showed up there every day early. I went to office hours to talk to her about freaking dance. I learned how to pilier and do some. I was doing ballet shit.
Really?
Okay. Yes. And
can you say that again? Pilier?
Pilier.
Pilier. The word of the day?
Yeah. Pilier. And I don't remember all the rest of them, but we had written tests in there. It was not a slouch course. And I had to write like a dance, like if I was to teach a dance class, I had to write like a teaching, like this is my teacher plan for the week. And I mean, seriously, but I went all in. I did all the things, and I'm sweating on this floor. Like I would show up to our workout already sweating. I need to warm up. I got my freaking splits in. And
was she surprised that you?
I think. Ultimately, yeah. So I did all the things. I went there extra. I showed up for everything. I was early. I participated in the class, even though it was awkward as hell. But I generally gave 1,000% effort into this because I knew if I didn't, she didn't want me in her class.
Right.
Because I was a football player.
Yeah.
So I was blackballed already on the first freaking day or second day. So afterwards, I stayed in the class the entire time, and I got an A in the course. So I handed in this huge thing, and she handed me my paperback, and there was a note inside, and I opened it up, and I read it, and she's like, "You changed my perspective on student athletes." And she retold the story. I always make sure that I put my classes in the late afternoon and evening hours because I have had such a horrible experience with student athletes and especially football players. This is my passion. This is what I live for. And I love teaching. And it has always been a sore spot because people you're insulting my love. And I said, I understand that. And I said, I hope you didn't feel that way. And she's like, no, you've actually changed my perspective on student athletes and football players. And I was like, holy shit. So I got an A in dance class, and you can check that shit out online if you want to.
That's awesome.
I got a freaking A in dance class.
Nice job. That was awesome.
Very
It's the best story I've ever heard.
And then I remember position 1 and position 2. I don't remember what those are, but I was – and I never told a soul about this when I was playing football. Are you kidding me? I'm not going to get my balls busted.
Yeah, I was going to say, I never heard about it.
No shit, right, Bill? Yeah. I wonder why I didn't tell you, of all people.
I was probably in class.
It's not like I was at home being like,
where's Joe?
Yeah, no, that's not his all. But yeah. So
but that's that moxie, right? Yeah. That's right there. You telling that story, the passion that you could see from the professor, because in that room, their love for dance was like your love for football.
Exactly.
Right? Right. And that's an artist, right? And when you go see somebody's music or you see somebody's painting,
right,
so many people want to judge right away, right? Well, I don't like that color, and they insult. And that songwriter spent hours upon hours, hundreds of hours on that song.
Or even like she's a professor at a university. The amount of dedication that she had to get to that.
Yeah.
Her whole office was ballet pictures and poses and figurines. Like, it's what she lived for. And for me to walk in there and blow it off and not take it seriously, that would have, I promise you, she would have either asked me to leave the class or I would have failed that class. And right away I'm like going, okay, they're all wearing leg warmers. These girls are actually freaking dancers. They know their shit. Like, they're on their game. And I walk in there, and at the minute I made fun of any of that, the minute I made a joke or a snide mark or a face or rolled my eyes or whatever else, I just freaking dug in and did all the shit to the. And I'm telling you, I'm not graceful at the time, but
you're not graceful now either.
I never just blew it off, and I never missed a class. And then I show up at her office hours, and she's looking at me like, "What the hell are you doing here?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm trying to write my student plan," and it was. But I put in the effort.
That's awesome.
I probably didn't deserve any in the class, but I ended up walking out of there with an A. So
nice, very nice.
Hey, Joe, what the heck does it mean when you say Cabin Coffee Altoona is a roastery? Are you making fun of the coffee or something?
Come on now, Bill. Sounds to me like you've had one too many shots to the head. It means we're a roastery. We buy our beans green from all over the world and roast right here on site. It's the freshest coffee you can get.
Is that why one place I used to go to tasted burnt and the other place tastes like brown flavored water?
That's exactly why, Bill. So stop on down to 2922 Meadowlark Lane. Cabin Coffee Altoona. Just remember, folks, everything's better at the cabin.
All right. Well, we're going to move on. We're going to skip the next one and go to the lawsuit of Chris Jenkins suing the NCAA. Basically, what happened here is the NCAA, there was a $2.8 billion lawsuit or settlement that the NCAA settled. And this is where, Kevin, we're going to ask you a question. But, Joe, this is where me and you get pissed off. Basically, the NCAA settled $2.8 billion for players from today going back to 2016, where the NCAA used their name, image, and likeness, and where they should be paid. Basically, this Chris Jenkins, for some stupid reason, opted out of that lawsuit and tried to sue the NCAA on his own.
Wants more money.
And, absolutely wants more money, but not working out for him. Our argument is, why does it stop at 2016? The NCAA and TV and everybody else has used college, especially football players' name, image, and likeness for years and years. Back in the 90s, there was a video game, NCAA football, which had everything except for our name on the back of the jersey. Like, my joke is, at Wisconsin, the running back was a big black guy that wore number 33.
Who would that be?
I don't know. I have no clue. The biggest guy in the game, I have no idea who he is. Number 60, the left guard, had a goatee, had a tattoo on his one arm.
Huge freaking nose.
Huge nose, covered in olive oil before the game even started. But yeah, I mean, I'm not sitting here acting like we're begging for money, but if we're talking NIL, our name, or not our name, but our image and likeness was used in the 90s. Why are we capping it at 2016? And I'm sure there was stuff even before then that was used, whether it's magazines, think about all those magazines that were put out.
Like the sports.
Exactly. All that with guys' pictures in it, this, that, the other. Without any permission, it was just sort of like, oh, it's all covered under the university. And we know they were cheating in line because they stopped making NCAA football because they knew a lawsuit was bound to happen. I think it was like 2001, I think was the last year they made it, or 2000 was the last year they made it. They stopped it until this past year. They came back out with it once name, image, and likeness was allowed.
Now it's back.
Now that I'm guessing they're paying players everybody gets a stipend for this game, but why does it stop at 2016?
I agree.
And question number 2, was Bowling Green on the game, and were you on the
you betcha.
We assume so.
Yeah, 87 was in there.
Gotcha.
I'm pretty much sure I got a Heisman Trophy because I had about 120 catches, and absolutely. He had good hands, right? These hands, ladies and gentlemen, they can catch.
That's the funniest story about my brother Pat. He's like, I'm playing you at Wisconsin. You're the only asshole that keeps on holding on every freaking play. Every play. I swear, the penalty, it's on you. I'm like, that's par for the course, buddy.
It's better Pat yelling at you than you.
One of the things, though, is the question is yes, I believe that from 2016 and prior, they should be paid. There should be something. CTE, there should be something. Same thing with NFL. All these players are making a quarterback. You're getting $100 million guaranteed, and you're talking a guy that was working as a grocery store back in the 60s. They played football, but they also had a second job to support their family.
Yep.
These guys are the reason why the NFL is here. And yeah, they got a little settlement, but they're not getting. I mean, these guys were making what, $10,000, $12,000 back in the day, even up into the 80s. Like, I look at the contract of Brett Favre, that was like $2 million. That was everything in the 90s, right? And now you're talking $100 million.
Yep. Or even look at
$50 million.
Mahomes. He's making $500 million. He signed a $500 million contract.
And you're telling me you can't give anything back to the NFL alumni or College Alumni Association? Like right here, you heard it here. College Alumni Association. Yeah. Let's get it moving here.
Yeah. You even talk with the NFL talking about money. In 2010, when the the concussion lawsuit started, it was a $1 billion lawsuit. I said it should have been a $10 billion lawsuit because the NFL in 2010 made $10 billion a year off of TV. Just 2 years ago, the NFL paid Amazon Prime $13 billion for one night a week that they played 2 football games.
Where's the money going?
That's insane. Absolutely insane.
We'll flip back to NCAA tournament. You heard it here. Here's the next fact of the day. NCAA, you big teams, you're ruining basketball.
Yes.
There was every seed. I bet you it was 80%. The teams that were higher ranked, higher seed, won the game. There was no Cinderella stories. It was blah.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you what, I don't even know if I'll watch it next year.
Yeah.
I normally take Thursday and Friday off to watch the games. Sorry, NCAA, you're ruining it.
Yeah, no, I agree. The next one, sticking on the NCAA quickly here, is we have this coming up soon, hopefully in July, that it's supposed to be signed the revenue sharing, where it's $20.5 million. The one note that I made, though, is only 75% of it goes to football. So we had a couple things going on. One, it was where's that money coming from? It's coming from the athletic department, but you're going to have to rob from Peter to pay Paul, because that $20 million was meant for something else. So now you're pulling it out of there to pay athletes. But of the $20 million, only $15 million goes to football, and there's $5 million for every other sport in the school, which I don't disagree with. But there's football programs that were like, oh, okay, we're going to be taking $20 million, like Wisconsin. We're going to have the ability to take $20 million to pay for our football team. Now we only have $15 million. Mm-hmm. I think that's going to hurt a lot, that you're losing $5 million out of that cap. That's my biggest takeaway from this. But the biggest thing we hear is it's supposed to go into effect, I believe, July 1st. They're still working on it. It hasn't officially been signed, but it's pretty much everything other than rubber stamp that it's going to affect July 1st. The next thing we have up is Colorado retiring jerseys. And this, I don't know, this really, really got me. I said without a doubt, Travis Hunter was the Heisman Trophy winner before the Heisman. Mm-hmm. Shadur Sanders was a good player on that team. But for either one of them, like we talked about this, that Ron Dane, I don't think got his jersey retired or his name on the facade until 5, maybe 10 years after he was done playing. It wasn't a right. What are you giving me this think eye for?
Because I feel like we were at the game.
You were. It was one of the reunion games. So I think if it was a reunion, it was.
No, it wasn't a reunion game. I think when he broke the.
But when he broke the record, he went on the facade.
He went on the facade.
Yeah, he went on the facade when he
because it was already freaking.
But that was the facade. Yes. So with that being said, I'm not even sure if Ron's jersey's retired.
I don't think it is.
Correct. So this happened before their football. The football season ended in December, and we're retiring a jersey in April. Mm-hmm. Like, that's insane that nobody's going to be able to wear those numbers, and it's 5 months later. Okay. Now people say it wasn't. Colorado says it was not Deion's choice to do this. They say it was the athletic director, that the athletic director made the decision when a player has a good season that he wants to go right from the season to retire in the jersey. And I respect that. He says he doesn't want to wait 10 years, 20 years, somebody possibly having health issues or passing away. But like we talked about, there's the Cordell Stewart. There's the other players from Colorado that had phenomenal years or back-to-back years, and their jerseys aren't retired. So why not work from the past forward, catch up before you start retiring, and then to retire Shadur? Like, by the time this podcast airs, he'll already be drafted, and we'll know where he's at. But at the time that we did our first draft podcast, we don't know where he's going. Mm-hmm. And, it's just, Shadur didn't even win the Heisman.
Right. But
just because you win the Heisman guarantees the retirement of a jersey.
But look how much Deion has brought Colorado back to the forefront of college football. That's the thing. So is this
and I guess I'd be fine with it as a thank you. Is that what you're getting at? Like, hey, thank you, Deion. We're going to retire his jersey, because I'd be fine with that. But instead of doing jersey retirement with just Travis and Shadur, do it with Travis, Shadur, and everybody else that should be retired.
Agreed.
Do them all on the same day.
Agreed.
Bring in the other 3 to 5 guys that need to be retired and have it all on the same day.
Let me ask you a question.
Yep.
We've been talking Colorado. We've been talking Deion. We've been talking Travis Hunter, the receiver, DB, and Shadur. Name one other player on Colorado.
You said Cordell Stewart? You said Cordell?
No, active.
Oh, active?
That player, I have no clue.
No clue.
One thing about Deion is, I think their marketing was fantastic, right? Show Deion. Oh, yeah.
The other scenes.
But I'm saying, everything in marketing that was around Deion and his stories, that's what you want to hear as a fan. Okay, what is Deion? Because you want to listen to him. He's one of those guys. To me, it's Deion, Bo Jackson I want to hear. Yeah. I want to hear Larry Bird's side, Magic Johnson. I mean, the mecca of star athletes, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it, anybody that would get a chance just to hang out with Michael Jordan, you're jumping, right?
Yeah.
Even Mike Tyson.
Mhm.
Our guys, Lucas Kollross and Phil Sturm and Nick Sanquist, they got to hang out with Mike Tyson for like 30 minutes.
Really? Where was that at?
This was like it was a bachelor party. I think Lucas's bachelor
Okay.
party. Talk about sitting in a room 30 minutes with
Yeah.
Mike Tyson.
That'd be
Think of the stories. But what I'm saying is that's who Dion is. That's what Colorado's getting, and kudos. Money's pouring in, right? That's the name of the game these days. And maybe someday Bowling Green will be like that with Eddie George.
There you go.
Hey, some of you boosters, start sending some money our way here, okay?
And Bill, I did Google it. Ron's jersey was retired in 2007 during a November 10th game against Michigan.
Okay, so that's
you were right.
Okay, but that was 8 years after he played.
I agree.
Yeah.
So,
And I do remember that now because I think I was at that game. I saw Ron before the game.
Nice.
But I would not have remembered that if you didn't say the date. But yeah, it's just a different world we're living in. So wrapping it up here, the last story, which I think is comical, it's we got a little bit of government sort of in it. We got a little bit of the movie Draft Day in it. Kai Trump, Donald Trump's granddaughter, met with the Cavender twins before UFC 313, I believe. And while they were talking, Kai, whether you want to call it a vlog or just hit record on her, recorded a video on her camera, has the Cavender twins talking about Carson Beck, who left Georgia to go to Miami to follow his girlfriend, one of the twins. And the twins, all they're talking about in this video is how he has no friends. He doesn't talk to anybody. When he's in front of other people, he just puts his head down on his phone. And my fear was, watching this, I go, it's draft day. I hated that it was Wisconsin on draft day, but it's the Wisconsin quarterback in the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner that his birthday party, they said none of his teammates showed up. I go, this is going to come up a year from now at the combines. They're going to play this 1 minute video and be like, explain this.
But maybe they're flipping. Maybe he broke up with them. Maybe they can't take that. Right? Maybe he's like, hey, you guys are superficial. I'm leaving. This is yes.
I'm not saying no, but in this world where if you have power, which he does when it comes to entertainment and social media, why aren't you putting anything out? I just think it's no matter what it is, it's going to be a question, which teams don't even want that. They don't want that personal stuff to be a question.
Why are the Kardashians still relevant? Who knows? I mean, how did they get there?
I didn't even.
And now you got 5 of them.
But see,
the
Kardashians are one. Yeah, but the Kardashians are one of those. It's like good press, bad press. It's all press. Everything's a benefit. Where with football, teams don't want a guy that they might be drafting in the top 10 spots in the draft. They don't want off to them. Whether it's he broke up or they broke up, that's off the field stuff that they don't want to deal with during the season of during the middle of an NFL season. They don't want to deal with, just because you broke up with your girlfriend, it's going to be in the news and it's going to be this and that. And whether your girlfriend broke up with you or you broke up with her, you're dating the type of person that's going to talk about you. Mm-hmm. And like, think about Aaron Rodgers with Olivia Munn.
Yeah.
Holy cow, do you think they hated that?
Right.
I mean, and I think half the stuff that everybody said was fake. I think everybody that Rodgers dated was set up by agents. I don't think any of it was relationship, but every team hated that stuff. Even look at the Jets, right, wrong, or indifferent. I primarily think the Jets didn't want him because he's an aging quarterback and he's not that good anymore, and he likes to try and run programs. But Glenn, the new coach of the Jets, said, you either play quarterback for the Jets or you go on Barstool. You don't do both. Mm-hmm. They threatened Barstool on him. And Barstool, they're taking it and running with it because it's marketing material for them. But I'm like, I agree. Like, you want to have a team meeting on a Monday and then have your quarterback go on a nationally televised show on Tuesday saying whatever he wants to say because he feels like he's the top dog. Well, you're not the top dog anymore.
I think your record last year shows that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a horse shit. It's a shit show. So, agreed.
Well, here's question of the day.
Give it to
Do you take these? This is what I understand. The whole Yellowstone show revolves around one of the main characters who's a tough guy. Who is that? Rip.
Yep.
And you hear all these girls, oh, can I just find a Rip? Right? Let's break down Rip. All right, ladies, you walk into a bar, right? Let's say a country bar. You got music going, live music, and it's packed, elbows to elbows. Do you want to walk in with an Aaron Rodgers, little skinny guy? Or do you want the 6'5", 6'6" Rip guy that can kick the shit out of anybody there? I'm guessing you're going to probably lean towards Rip, right? Now somebody spills your drink and it makes you feel uncomfortable and starts flirting with you. Do you want Aaron Rodgers, pretty boy? Or do you want the Rip, big guy, right? Yeah. So to me, it's like the old joke. These women go into a shopping mall. First floor, right? You can always go up, but you can't come down, right? So first floor, you got a good-looking guy that's got a job, he's got a house, right? Well, they go to the elevator and they say, well, let's go up the store, level 2. Yeah. Now you got a guy that's got a house, he's got a great family, he's funny, right? He's got a really good job. Let's go to the elevator. Let's go up to level 3. Now you got a rich guy, he's super attractive, right? He's funny. He's great with the kids. He actually does the dishes, right? He does all the chores. He's not on social media, so I'm going to go up to level 4, right? Now you got a tycoon. You got all the money. You got a billionaire, good looks, great with kids, spends time with grandma, volunteers, right? Goes to, donates money to the Humane Society. What's up on level 5? Guess what? End the story, back down, single again. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't find the perfect guy. Yeah. It's not about social media. It's not about the looks. It's about the heart, right? So, ladies, if you're looking, find that lineman, that big teddy bear that's going to love you forever, right? That's going to protect you like Rip does, right? You don't want that prima donna quarterback from Georgia.
Plus, he looks weird. Doesn't he? Have you seen his face? Have you seen a picture of him?
I don't remember.
All right, when we get off of this, we're going to show you a picture. And you've seen him, right? Oh. His face just looks weird. Yeah. And that's another thing I think. And even though this is weird and you don't believe it, NFL teams are going to have a new. Every quarterback in the NFL.
What's this guy's name?
Carson Beck.
Now I got to look it up.
Carson Beck. You look it up while I'm talking. Every quarterback in the NFL, they got the jawline. They got just that handsome type bone structure face. Carson Beck looks like he got hit by a train or something. Did you pull him up?
Yeah.
What do you think? Does he look like the prototypical quarterback?
No.
Something looks off with him.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to rip on people, but I'm just like you say my nose is big. I'm not denying it. It is big. His face is weird.
Yeah, it's not awesome. I mean,
it's just his eyes are sunken.
Yeah. But he looks like a typical quarterback. He's got the flowing hair, right? Yeah. I think the thing about Moxie, you ever hear one of the ratings is, well, he's dating an ugly girlfriend.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They actually use that.
Oh, absolutely.
Baseball scouts.
Yep.
They take if the mom is good looking.
Yep.
Right? They have all these little intangibles that these old-time scouts look for.
Yeah.
Ugly girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. Nope, don't want them.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Hockey scouts. Oh, good-looking mom? We're going to, day 2.
Exactly.
What, we got to talk her? She thinks she can run the team? No, sorry, kid.
All right. Well, I think we had enough fun for today. We are going to wrap up another episode of 217 South Mills.
It's brought to you by Cabin Coffee Altoona, located at 2922 Meadow Lark Lane in Altoona, Wisconsin.
And Pizza Del Rey, located in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, our favorite pizza shop in the state. Thanks again. See you next time.
Thank you for listening to another episode of 217 South Mills.
If you like what you heard, smash the like and follow buttons on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and X.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Cabin Coffee Altoona. Tune in next time, folks.